Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a whole new episode of your program Windows. Of course, we're witnessing the latest development that is happening between the US and Iran, and the latest escalation, which really witnessed a major confrontation, military confrontation that was a bit close to an attempt peace agreement that recently raveled. And to shed more light on this topic, I'm so delighted to be accompanied here in the studio by General Osama Kabier, the consultant and advisor at the Command and Staff College. Well, it's a great pleasure to always have you, sir.
Thank you, Shiro. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Well, of course, we've been witnessing the latest escalation, the threats, the statements, and lots, of course, of showing off on the TV with Donald Trump saying lots of threats when it comes to homes. And, of course, that was also threatened that he's going to strike Tehran today night. And that was also after the U.S. Helicopter that was blown down by the Tehran. Today, not today, actually, like 2 hours ago, he changed his mind and he canceled the bombing and the targeting and the more attacks on Iran. I don't know if that due to the World Cup or that due to another timing to maintain something else that behind the scene.
Well, so speaking about that, what happened within the last 4 days specifically when Iran targeted Israel for the very first time, which astonished like too many within the whole international world actually, and that because the Israelis actually have approached what to be so-called Dahiyat al-Junub, or the southern part of the Beirut. We understand that because the southern of Lebanon actually been targeted for some like couple of months or more than, but why specifically when they approached the Dahiyat al-Junub, then Iran interfered quickly, because it seems that we have some of the heads and commands of the Hezbollah maybe are resident in that area. So they struck Iran with 4 rockets. They were not cluster rockets, by the way, and maybe they knew that the Iranians actually would be able actually to target these rockets, but it was a message delivered. And the second thing from the Iranians, from their perception, I would say that they have also examined the Israeli-American relationship and how would Donald Trump interfere within that, because they are trying to approach much more positive steps within their negotiations. So what happened now is that the Israelis actually have been advised by Donald Trump, US President, not to restrike against the Iranians, but they struck but for a limited duration and limited targets as well. But finally, king of the contradictions and paradoxes as usual, President of the United States, he said we're going to launch another military strike against them, and he sent his what we so-called the Secretary of War to the CENTCOM headquarters within Florida, I think, yesterday, and starts talking about that we're gonna reignite the fire of war again. And on my way back, on my way to here maybe, and just told me that been cancelled. I understand that because there was great expectations that they wouldn't go through that. Why should? Because first of all, the United States of America wouldn't go for the ceasefire unless they were not able actually to achieve their strategic military objectives, the 3 or 4 military objectives. And the military committee within the Congress itself, when they had held some sessions with the Secretary of Defense or War, and they asked them, what did you achieve? And he said, we killed maybe the aspirations, the hopes of the Iranians to produce a nuclear weapon. And they were pretty much disappointed, and you understand what happened in the Congress in the last week, and the Republicans, 4 of them have joined the Democrats, so they are trying to pull the mat out of the Donald Trump legs. So Donald Trump will do that due to that maybe there are no military capabilities to achieve. They come at the first place within the whole world and their military assets, but to achieve your strategic objectives, maybe this is what they are not able to achieve. Second thing is that, as you just spoke, it's the World Cup starts now. I think they have started now, the great celebration, this ceremony that the whole world actually is looking at this spot in Mexico, Canada, and South America. Third thing is that it seems that the Iranians, due to the report being produced by the CIA director himself 25 days ago, that he said the Iranians still have something like 17% from their strategic reserve of the ballistic missiles, which is also very dangerous, and because the Iranians would target the GCC countries and such a preponderant card in their hands, so they are playing that strategy. So no wonder that Donald Trump would go back a little bit and would say something like to change by the end of the day. Maybe tomorrow he would strike. He wouldn't know it till it happens, but hopefully he wouldn't strike. Yes, ma'am.
Well, hopefully, because we witnessed also, of course, Egypt condemned the attacks on Gulf area, some Gulf countries, actually, like Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan. So it didn't pass only 48 hours that we were condemning. We were speaking about that. We were speaking about the ceasefire, the deal, the agreement, the points, the strategic points. Now we are witnessing a major military confrontation between the United States and Iran, though there are also lots of places around the world, as you said, in Lebanon, for example, it's on fire due to also different calculations when it comes to Hezbollah and when it comes to Tehran, U.S., and Israel.
Right. And we have condemned the Iranian aggression against the GCC countries that like tens of times before by the Egyptian political leadership itself, and as well as the Minister of the Foreign Affairs, Badr Abdelati. Thinking here from the Iranian perception, why it's been called like a preponderant card, something very expensive in their hands. From the Iranian perception, they would say they would want to deliver a message to the GCC country. The United States striking Iran. Iran is retaliating on the United States bases within GCC country territories. So you might get hit. So take Iran out, so United States are hitting the GCC. That's the message that Iran want to deliver to the GCC countries. So they are using them under suppression, oppression, and aggression as well, trying to use them to push back the United States of America or to oblige the United States of America to stop this war. The same excuse me for that. The same thing is happening with the Israelis. Look what's happening. The Iranians are like striking the Israelis through the Hezbollah in Lebanon. In Israel are retaliating on Iran through Hezbollah. So take Israel out, Lebanon say, like Iran is striking Lebanon. It's sort of like strategy. And every of the counterparts trying to play the game the way he would perceive it, the much more efficient, maybe positive, affirmative to him, which would accomplish his objectives. But look who's the loser here. All the people within Lebanon, within Iran, even in Israel. So yes, we condemn that, we understand that, and I think the Egyptian political leadership have held 2 telephone calls with Mr. Masoud Pezeshkian, the president of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and he condemned that like too many times with him, and actually he offered too that we are pretty much able to help you to go through out of this scourge, out of this bottle, out of this swamp, to get out of this mud. But stop striking the GCC countries, and it seems that the Iranians wouldn't do that, unfortunately. They would still.
What is the reason behind that? Because is it like a pressure point, a press card for more of we can show our power also when it comes to military confrontation, or is it a press point also for Tehran, like this loop that we are not getting out of it?
It's whatever, like whatever you imagine, like since it's in the outframe of the logic, it could be, yes. But the thing here is that the Iranians want to change the whole strategic status quo after this war is being terminated, and you will never know it, by the way. So it seems that the Iranians wouldn't love to actually pretty much to have these American bases within their military ranges that to attack Iran from with their spirits or whatever missiles or the naval assets within the Gulf. That's why they are trying to push on the GCC countries, and this is very harmful and this is very harshing. I mean, look at the people. I know some people in Kuwait and Bahrain, and we talk to each other. And yes, they listen to the whistles every time, and now and these countries are pretty much small in geographical scale. And that's what the Iranians are planning on. They say, no, we are trying to hit this base, but it seems that the rocket maybe misled or something, so it's now in the airport. Who would believe that? It's a sort of war, and we need people to get to the wisdom, to get to the table, to put some papers like we have here and start talking about that, trying to get some good resolutions, to come up with a peaceful situation for the Middle East, because the whole world now is being affected by that. Specifically, of course, the Middle East I'm speaking about, but when you go a little bit like broadening your circle, it moves to the world. Look at the oil prices now within the gallon is $6, $6 in the United States of America. You would never believe that. The American citizen himself actually is truly pissed off of that. So hopefully that we have some wisdom. I'm pretty much happy that you have told me that Donald Trump had cancelled his decision against the Iranians to strike them again, and hopefully the World Cup would come with good resolutions. Do we have Iran in our group? I think yes.
Yeah, and they faced lots of actually humiliating dealing with them. Like according to some security level staff, there's referees. They went back home and they sent them to
the guy from Somalia.
Yes, they sent him to Turkey.
Referee, by the way.
And something happened also with one of the coaches of the Iranian team. So is it like we are just gonna have you to enjoy the World Cup, but under our circumstances? This stubbornness when it comes to exactly this domination and this stubbornness actually is very funny right now, because people didn't understand how it's going in the very beginning. But right now, the more they see nonchalant actions and nonchalant statements, threats, and then I'll withdraw, and then we're gonna hit, and meanwhile, he don't have this capacity of this military funding, that they have lots of chaotic situation when it comes to the Congress, lots of chaotic situation when it comes to the Ministry of Defense. So it's not, you don't have the luxury of spending more on military expenses, of course. And meanwhile, he still threatens that we have the best powerful military strikes and drones and all of that. And they know by heart that Tehran have a lot, and have, if it's going to hit and strike with ballistic missiles, let's say, it's going to be a disaster. So why this stubbornness coming from? And though the international community also is pressing from different part of the world, from different Islamic countries, from different European countries, and nothing is happening except for the escalation and the inflation.
Right. And thank you very much that you spoke about the chaotic situation. Now it's still much more even chaotic in the United States of America itself. Look what's happening in between the Democrats and the Republicans, and we have 4 Republicans that have joined the whole Democrats against Donald Trump. And it seems that the rest of the Republicans wouldn't vote because maybe they are a little bit afraid about their political situation, maybe their chairs in the Congress. So now we start speaking about the extensions for the war. Right. The United States have declared something like $30 billion, with the B letter. When you start saying about $30 billion, it seems like not less than $15 billion, because you need to mitigate a little bit, trying to mitigate your casualties and losses. And for how long, until when? And because now, look what happened. The Iranians have closed like 100% the Hormuz Strait again. It was a little bit open for the vessels, unless they would pay something like financial fees. So they take money. It's like toll station now. And the Americans are seize capturing the whole, and seize capturing the blockade by the Iranians, the seize capture by the Americans from a little bit something like 1,500,000 miles, something like that, a little bit down to the south. But now it's the whole Hormuz again is being blockaded again, 100%, which means another crazy spikes and strikes within the prices of the oil. You will never know at when, until where it will be ending. So I think the President Donald Trump, he would think about that carefully, because the Hormuz Strait comes at the first place now as a strategic objective of the United States of America, and they have the World Cup in the countries, and they have people from the whole world now, and maybe he's thinking about we don't need an unrest situation to strike up suddenly, blow up, and in the face of everyone. And we have different nationalities, and maybe they have people from everywhere, south, east, west, south, whatever. So I think, yeah, to calm down, to assuage the situation, to come down with the inflammation within the Middle East, at least for the World Cup duration. And hopefully within this diplomacy, shattered diplomacy could come up with good resolutions, and Egypt, of course, at the first place, with Pakistan, KSA, and Qatar, and Turkey as well. We're trying to deal with that. Hopefully they can make ends meet and make some matching points and converge points of compromises. Hopefully, yes. We wish good luck for the diplomats.
Yes, of course, all the luck for the diplomats. Our foreign policy is working on that, actually, like the latest phone call between Dr. Badr Abdel-Ati, the foreign minister, and his counterpart, his Pakistani counterpart today, was also just tackling all the issues, the escalation, the negotiating table, and all of that. We hope for the best, but the problem is there's different parts in this situation, and the different parts are speaking loudly but lonely, in a very...
That's a good one too, by the way.
Yeah, like they're speaking in a big powder room, they're speaking to themselves. So this is a stressing point, because the Strait of Hormuz, as you said, like the blockade, it didn't cost the whole world up to now, and the consequences when it comes to the financial consequences, when it comes to the inflation, when it comes to lots of countries suffering from oil and gas and natural gas and all of that. You're thinking about new roads, just as a not, of course, not a permanent solution, but as a now solution. Permanent roads for the trade and investment. Everyone is collapsing due to the stubbornness and due to this game of domination.
Right, and the chains of supplies too. And look what's happening. Did you hear the U.S. President when he launched that declaration, I think, today in the afternoon? He said, I'm thinking about taking over the Hark Island again. So which means now the Chinese are pretty much like, very, very open eyes now is what's happening here. Because as you understand, Shuru, that China is dragging something like 13 up to 16% from their oil needs from Iran, while other 4% from the needs taken from Venezuela. Now, Venezuela has been taken over by Trump. We understand that. But seems that the crude oil in Venezuela is not that purity measurements like what's happening from the...
It was an ambush for him.
Exactly. So now the Chinese are observing that. They are very, very awakened. And why Hark Island now? Because Hark Island represents 98% from the Iranian revenues. So if he took over that, if he could be able to take over the Hark Island, now he would like to cut off the tube of oxygen to the Iranians. So maybe something will happen from the inside Iranian society. So they strike to topple off or throw out the regime. But also that's not a very good idea, because the Iranians wouldn't be actually so patient to have that. And to take over Hark Island, that's a land military operation which is pretty much dangerous on the United States Army, because the island is pretty much small and it's pretty much exposed to Iranian fire. It's actually, you are standing on a ball of fire that pretty much ready to be exploded at any time, because it's all tankers from beneath the ground. So something, it's you need to a little bit calm down. The United States administration needs to calm down a little bit. Let's enjoy the World Cup. Let's see what we can do with the Iranians. Let's see what we can do with the negotiations. And as I told you, the mediators are pretty much professionals, efficient and competent to deal with something like that, also to make the ends meet and trying to get a point of compromise in between two counterparts.
It's a hegemony process, actually, because everyone or every state, including, like, they are involved in this situation. Some are not involved. They got involved by chance, like the Gulf countries, for example, and the reason and also the result is the striking and then the evacuation and people revolving around the world. People, after they stayed there and built lives, they are evacuating also in Lebanon. Lots of evacuation, more than 1 million people been taken from their places just in a day or another. Speaking also about, it's not about only domination, because I believe an economist can be a politician, but a politician cannot be a businessman.
Economic?
Yeah.
Could be what?
He could be a politician, but not the vice versa, because all the Trump, if we look down beneath the truth, it's about power. Money is the power, power is the money, and he's seeking that, he's seeking more of that. He wants to, as you said, like taking this island because it's the revenue and all of that, which is going to be faced again with something else, like a new, provoking new anger and aggression, not just from the Iranians, but also from the whole world.
Right, exactly, and I will continue what you just said, because when you look at the Trumpian character, the man is a great, clever, what would it be so-called, real estate broker or something like that. So, and he has a book actually called The Art of the Deal. Exactly, yes. But when it comes to his perception, his mindset, actually, he's always thinking about the money. And he speaks like, frankly, he doesn't hide anything. That's what you like about President Donald Trump, by the way. What is in his heart.
It's so natural.
He's natural, he just say it. But the thing here is that some would ask, Shuru, where is the GCC country from the American military equation? Because you waged that war in Iran, and didn't you know that they would retaliate on the GCC country? Surely they did. But maybe it didn't come up to your mind that they will have this something like strategic patience, and they might be able to retaliate against you, and they will start hitting you also with bases and force within the GCC countries. But yes, GCC countries are like under very, very great deal of suppression and repression of the military action of the United States of America against Iran. And the Iranians have nothing to lose, by the way. They have been under like the sanctions for something like 45 years. If you start hitting on someone who was pretty much poor and hungry for 20 years, he wouldn't have something to lose. He would start like blowing his face like a bomb. So what's happening from the Iranian psychology? So I would say again, The KSA is a great country and playing a very, very good shuttle diplomacy, as well as beside Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, Pakistan. They are the superstar, we understand that, but yes, we are all together. Hopefully they can come up with a way that to convince Donald Trump and the Iranians. I'm speaking not here about Masoud Pezeshkian himself, speaking about the, what's the abbreviation of that? RGC, Revolutionary Guard of the Iranian Republic, something? Yes. They are in the position, they are controlling the whole issue now within the Iranian Islamic country. Yes, we need to come for the benefit and for the sake for your people, all the people. Look at the Iranian team in World Cup, by the way. They were not able to enter the United States of America because no visas. So if they have match there in some place, Orlando or San Diego, I'm not sure they play and get out, get back to Mexico. So they need to rest for 3 or 3 days. I mean, this is something unethical when it comes to football now, because a war is being held back in the Middle East. So it's something now irrelevant in between the social issues, the military issues, the economic issues when it comes to the Trumpian mindset. I believe you, pretty much. But now look what's happening. What are the casualties? Until where, until when? This is very important. Hopefully we can see something good in the very near future.
I think lots of issues are tangling when it comes to economy, according to the ceasefire agreement that everybody awaits for. So every now and then, like, there's points we're discussing, then we'll see, then we're going to the negotiating table, then the ceasefire, and then a strike, and then a ceasefire, and then a strike. So even when it comes to the business world and economy, everybody is stoned. Everybody is stoned and is watching closely, but no one can do anything, which is actually ethic-wise, as you said, like something else pressuring more on the even the psychically pressure.
Exactly.
Why? Like this is very humiliating, first of all, and it's not just about the team and the World Cup. I don't know why they insist on I don't know, exporting this facade of ugly facade, actually, let's say, because Trump is approaching an election soon. So
right, I think in November, speaking about the midterm elections for the Congress. Right, exactly. And that would lead us again to the chaotic situation. The word you have just said something like a few minutes ago. You know why? Because look at that. The whole war duration took how many? Like 40 days. You know how many for the ceasefire, swinging ceasefire? 65 days, which is exactly that would equal chaotic, because it wasn't supposed to take all that time. Seems that they don't have a good decision. I'm not talking about the United States of America. I'm talking about the two counterparts. Israel is just a player who is joining the Americans, whatever it happens, or dragging them to the war again. So in the last 3 days, we have seen much more wisdom coming up from the United States of America President Donald Trump himself, when he actually urged the Israelis not to restrike against the Iranians, when he gave them the green light, but for a definite duration and definite time and definite targets, not longer than that. So that seems like it seems that the man now is trying to assuage the situation. Hopefully he can come out with that. The Iranians will understand pretty much well that the elections would affect Trump. They are observing the Congress. They are observing the 4 Democrats who joined the Republicans who joined the Democrats. They are happy with that. So they are trying to push on him, trying to get him to the negotiations on the way they would like. And Trump, if he get a little bit quiet and look at that and look at, again, it's the World Cup, it jumps out to my mind every time, because that's a great situation.
Great chance, actually.
Great chance for the whole world. And now it's not politicized. People would say they have been inspected, the players within the airports and under the airplanes, and this is very humiliating and stuff like that. He needs to understand and think about that, because what happened in the United States of America something like a couple of months ago, when this Protestants struck in the streets, 8 million within 50 states, that was astonishing as well, stunning and astonishing to the administration itself. So again, things are going on quickly. Things are going on abruptly. You will never know it when it hits and it comes. But hopefully they would come to the mind and the wisdom, and let's see something happen, because we are all fed up with that now. Yes.
It's antithetical situation, actually. It's pretty much antithetical, because I don't know whether to laugh or to cry, because it's very, actually, it's like you're watching a series that never ends, and each time you have a new story in the series. But actually, we need to, again, I don't know what's going to happen when it comes to the American side, but again, Egypt is standing next to all the brotherly Gulf countries, standing also when it comes to Sudan, Somalia, negotiating table when it comes to the war in Gaza and all of that. We are having an equanimity actually when it comes to this process, and we love the process of peace, we love the negotiating process, but as you said, there's need lots of pressure to not just to postpone more, because it's a play that it's getting more really, let's say, we're fed of it. Like, you play it for a bit, and then right now you don't want any more of that. You just need peace and calm, because we have lots of strikes and war around the whole world. It's not just about Iran, it's not about the Gulf area, it's about Russia, it's about Ukraine, it's about Somalia, Sudan, so there's Syria, Iraq, there's lots of really I don't know how to say, but it's
between two ferns, like we're on simmering surface. And thank you very much that you spoke about Gaza, because there is something which is very much important from at least my point of view we need to mention here, is that the Palestinian factions, we are holding conference with them like in the last 2 months, maybe 4 meetings up to now, starting from Hamas and the other 13 factions, and plus the Palestinian Authority. So because maybe the people should have forgotten about what's happening in Gaza. What's happening in Iran is because of Gaza, by the way. And now there is a problem with the Yellow Line. It was one of the points that we have agreed with the United States of America and been declared and propagated to the whole world. And now the Israelis are using that Yellow Line as a new safety margins for their land-scale borders. This is very dangerous, by the way. And by the way, Nikolai Miladinov, this is the chief of the Executive Council to run Gaza in the second day or the second phase or whatever they would call it. He was in Egypt like a month ago. And because of that, we need to address from here, from this place, that the Egyptian diplomacy is working also to Gaza, because the people have forgotten that, and we are holding meetings and we are sending people there and we observe the situation, because after the Iranian war actually is being hopefully as you just said, terminated to a peaceful situation, peaceful status quo, that we get back quickly to Gaza, because the new Yellow Line from the Israeli perception is a new borderline, which is a new issue, a new narrative. It's like a headache. So exactly just what I said, what's happening in Somalia, in Sudan, in Libya, in Gaza, in Lebanon, it's all connected, all complicated, all perplexing. We are all indulged. I love the way you
indulged by force. We never choose to be there.
Some bread now, some oxygen.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, it's very chaotic. Actually, when we each time, not just us, because now, as you said, the eyes is going away from the Gaza case, turning to something else. It's very, it's taking people from the main cause, which not just Egypt been speaking from now and then about Gaza and reminding the whole world about the case. And even yesterday we sent the 211th convoy, Zad al-Izza, to Palestine, crossing the borders. So working parallel, it's parallel with the negotiating table, it's working parallel with the aid, and also not just Gaza. Egypt is sending aid and medical equipment for and doctors for some countries, like African countries like Eritrea, to defeat the Ebola and Democratic of Congo, to defeat Ebola, and we were working parallel. As you said, we are so happy that we have such presidential thought. We have such a courageous foreign affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, represented, of course, in his Excellency Badr Abdel Ati, and we are witnessing loss. But speaking about also the chaotic situation that is happening because of the military funding, today also one of the main topics is the British Defence Minister John Haley quit today in a dispute over the military spending, accusing Prime Minister Keir Starmer of failing to commit the resources that are needed to keep the country safe from heightened threats.
Did he quit?
Yeah. And he's accusing Starmer also. Because of the unexpected resignation, accompanied by a scathing public letter, compounds the pressure on Starmer when he is facing a likely leadership challenge and exposes the crisis at the heart of the British government.
You know what, I wouldn't go away from what happened something like a year ago or a year and a couple of months when Donald Trump asked the NATO countries to raise up their NATO expenditures from 2.5 up to 5% from their GDP, and Britain didn't do it, as well as Spain. I think like four or five countries only have raised their expenditures, and that's why it's chaotic again. What's happening from the Minister of Defense in between him and Keir Starmer, if that happened, as you just said, yes, I believe, of course, it seems that it could be related to that. So again, it strikes now in Britain. The man wants much more expenditures, maybe. So the other guy thinking about, is it interior expenditures or the NATO expenditures? So went into through like a conflict, a problem. Maybe Keir Starmer said, it's my authority, over move from here. And he said he quit. You will never know it till we'll dig a little bit after that, maybe today.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems about the money because, and as you understand also that Britain have suspended like too many deals with the Israelis, armament, supply, stuff like that, because due to the genocide, something like a couple of years ago. So again, it hits. The NATO now is thinking about a new substitute other than the United States of America, because Donald Trump himself have like declared or threatened like too many times that he will pull out of the NATO, and the NATO needs the United States of America pretty much after the war of Second World War, and they have got the lessons that they need the states beside them. But if he pulled out, I think now they are thinking about a new unified headquarter, maybe comes at the first place Germany and France, and they would take Belgium with them, as I heard before. But look, Britain. So Britain, United States, and Germany will take a new lead for the NATO if the United States pulled out of the NATO treatment. But about the Minister of Defense, that he resigned or quit, it seems because of the expenditures, and he wants to spend much more money for the sake of the military assets. Keir Starmer looking maybe for the NATO expenditures, that because 2.5 up to 5%, that's duplication in the number, which means billions of sterling, pounds, stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like this might take in place also in the very near, but it's not that harshing point to Keir Starmer, because I think a good substitute maybe is ready, or maybe he'll drag the man back again. We would see that. I'll track that, yeah. But it's not away from the U.S., by the way.
100%, I'm sure.
When I look at that, yes. Seems like they have a relation in between, maybe. I'm not sure about that, but we'll track that, yes.
No, because on the other hand, also the U.S. and the Congress, they were facing lots of accusation when it comes to why the Iranian war in the first place. What was the output? What did it result in up to now? Why did we hit Tehran in the first place? Right. So it's both powerful countries are speaking about that. Meanwhile, also Germany accused Trump of dragging them into inflation, dragging them into lots of unexpected circumstances that they didn't want to be involved in, and declaring 100% that they are not going to be part of any military attacks or any military strikes or whatever. They want to be away from that. They just want to focus on the economy. So he's not just being accused by his own nation, actually, but from even the powerful countries. Yvette Cooper also just accused him before that he's taken all the side from the Gaza war and the second phase of Gaza, and then we need to maintain our vision, or our declared vision, to reach the end of the second phase and the reconstruction of Gaza. So the international community also speaking out. It's not just the countries that is involved or keen on the Gaza case and the Gaza war and what's happening. It's really ridiculous. Now we're going more than 3 years in the same situation. Nothing is happening. As you say, yellow zone, gray zone, yellow line, red line, and it's all very distracting, let's say.
All right. And to add something about Germany, thank you very much for that, because Meretz, when he spoke to Donald Trump, he said, you've been humiliated every day and day passes without getting to a good resolution with the Iranians, because no one had expected that. You started that war and they retaliated on you, and now it seems that they are getting like a higher scale other than you. So I think the U.S. diplomacy is not in a good situation. They are not on their prime, both of them. The German diplomacy as well as the United States diplomacy, they are a little bit against. And right after that, we heard about the new unified headquarters for the NATO by Germany and France. And now, yes, again, protests like strike every time in the streets in Germany, and there is a problem there too. And it seems that the whole world actually is being affected by this phenomena. And now look at even the Israeli people, then when they go to the tourist stuff, they've been kicked out of the restaurants, of the seashores, of the parks, of the public areas, sightseeings. They've been tracked, and every time they've been spotted, now you have the media in your hand. You just can't take photo, video, start asking the questions. Are you baby killers? Are you man-eating machines? Are you genociders? So the only guarantee we have here is the U.S. By one word, by one signature, he can pull out, he can end the whole thing in Gaza, in Iran, in Lebanon. So why the stubborn for? I mean, try to save your spearhead in the Middle East, Israel. They are, you know, Israel's by millions in the tunnels and in the shelters because one rocket from Iran. And it's only like to come in for the sake and the benefit for one person who's the right-wing orchestrated government chief. He's afraid of some interior problems to be put in jail while he's at the age of 80 or 77 or something like that. So that's the only thing. You cannot personalize your problem on your people. And the same thing now is happening with Donald Trump because he's afraid to lose his weight within the Congress, and the Republicans, maybe they will lose. And if they will lose, I think the Democrats will think about the impeachment. So if there is a strong impeachment, maybe Donald Trump is not able to finish his rotation within the presidency. I mean, it's pretty much obvious to everyone. Why don't we look at that? So, another wisdom, be quiet, enjoy the World Cup. Let's solve that. Let's all be happy. Let's have some Iranian-American visits. And you go to them, you drag them and they meet Mustafa Khamenei as you've just like too many times. Why not? And tell him that you are sorry about his death, by the way. Okay. maybe he'll forgive you. Why not? Let's see something new. The whole world been fed up with that. We got this is very dull actually. So yes,
I think it's the stubbornness and also the image of the U.S. because I think Tehran is the only country that dared to strike back, dared to speak loudly, threat loudly, whether Israel or the United States. So I think it's about their arrogancy, let's say. So it's getting to really it's funny because we're speaking in different
arrogant.
Yeah, and it's all of them are right. This is the problem. So we're even distracted.
That's the way now. I mean, even Masoud Pezeshkian, we've heard something like something people would say that Masoud Pezeshkian is against the RGC, but by the Donald Trump actually threatening them that he will strike, the whole one keep to one channel now. They have a unified headquarters once again. So it seems that they are strong from the inside. And now the problem from the inside, it seems, in the United States of America, because we are looking at the Democrats and Republicans. So in here, I just can't understand it easily that it's for the simple man to understand that what's going on in Iran is not that easy. And they are not like an easy bite to can have it and just move. And what's going on in the United States of America is pretty much dangerous, and it's like imminent jeopardy. It's threatening your position. It's threatening your party, the Republicans. If you go that way, it will be ended by a cliff. So, I mean, calm down a little bit, slow down, and cool, and let's see what will happen with that.
I think his narcissistic actions is being confronted by the creed of the Iranian. So this is the problem. I think this is the misconnection between the two powerful countries.
Words are dangerous today. The creed too, right. Thank you very much again.
I think, because when they did try to provoke a lot of chaos in Tehran, and they thought that the state will be like busy with recruiting all the rebels, rebellions, that is, they came to unprovoked from such action, but it didn't happen also. So
it happened in the US.
Yes.
They wanted that in Iran and Tehran, so astonishingly, and they said, what's happening? They said 8 million people within 50 states in the streets. So if you need to achieve your target within here and strike back and you wouldn't know it till it happens, this is very dangerous. So now with the accumulation of the people from the whole world now, in the United States of America, as well as in Mexico, as well in Canada, this is very dangerous, something happened. So you need to quiet things, to assuage situation, put out the fire, because they got like thousands and hundreds of thousands of people in your hand, and you don't need to spread out your police and National Guard and military office. See what I'm talking about? This upcoming month, it could be whether your best friend or your worst enemy, by the way. That's by perception by what's happening in the World Cup. And you just said that on me. Remember this conversation very well.
Yes, because it's in the end, like everyone is taking the whole situation as a survival situation, whether they're running from something humiliating or something like striking back, like real on the ground. So I think that what's going on has to end, because this is not leading to anywhere except for the exhaustion, actually, inside out, whether from the Minister of Defense or the military or the nation or the taxes or the whatever. It's a mess. It's not going to take us to anywhere. So we hope for the best for the world, not just for the region. And of course, we hail our foreign policy for more success in the upcoming negotiating.
Right, exactly. And something before it seems that I'm going to end this dialogue now. Now, like too many voices in South Africa are speaking and striking, like they pull back our soldiers from the Middle East. People now would feel pretty much that the hazardous area of the Gulf, the Arab Gulf, and what's happening there, and it seems that they are not pretty much having the trust within the command what will happen. So something wrong might take place. We are not pretty much sure that we can burden that. So tolerance is zero now within the United States public opinion, which means, again, this is something that we stop here. Okay, you win. We believe you win. But stop here now, please. And the Iranians win as well. And let's get to the negotiations, let's get to the table, and let's put our resolutions for the sake of the Middle East as well as the whole international community. That's my perception about that.
Well, that's our hope, all of us. We hope for the best. Well, General Osama Kabier, the advisor and the consultant at the Command and Staff College, I would like to thank you so much for your informative interview. And I really had lots of effort from you, as always. Thank you so much for giving me this chance.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Sure.
Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we came to the end of this episode. Promise we'll be back next week with more diverse topics and the latest developments that is happening on the national and international arenas. Best regards from me, Shuf Bakir.